as you get started to plan out how your speaker box is going to be laid out, everyone will have a piece of plywood for the base. The thickness of the plywood is 0.2 inches. All right, and the way the speaker box works, it has a finger joint pattern. So when I pull the box over here, you can see that all the pieces fit together with these little joints here that kind of all interlace as if you're kind of locking your fingers together like this. All right, so that's how it all fits together nice and snug. So the 4 different materials that we're using, again, we have HDPE tiles. These are 0.25 inches thick. We have the birch plywood, which are about 0.20 inches thick. And we have the expanded PVC, which is approximately 0.125, an eighth of an inch. And then we have the acrylic sheets that are also 0.125 inches thick. All right, so these are some important numbers to keep in mind. You notice that we're only designing right now the bottom and the 4 sides. The top is going to be 3D printed. We have control of the thickness of that. We don't have control of the thickness of these materials. So you choose which ones you want and where you want them. I'm going to just do an example here. I do not want you to follow this example, so I want yours to be different than mine, so do not follow this example. But if the back of yours is wood, you need to make sure that the thickness of that you recorded as 0.20 inches. The left-hand side might be your HDPE tile, which is 0.25 inches. The right-hand side is your expanded PVC, which is 0.125 inches thick. And then that will leave the acrylic for the front, which is 0.125 inches thick. All right, I do not want you to follow this exact, but again, this is an example. The reason you need to know all the thicknesses here is because it determines the depth of your fingers here. So what I mean is this finger here has to fit into that finger there, and I want them to be nice, smooth tolerances. You see this is a nice, smooth, all these joints here. There's no excess. It's not too shallow. It's not too deep. And I really want everything to line up really, really nice and smooth when you assemble the box here. So the reason for this is, so this is a wood side, this is a wood side. So I know that the depth of these fingers here, that thickness right here, has to, of these 3 fingers here, has to fit down, and it has to be the thickness of the material that it's meeting. So these have to be 0.20 inches deep. All right. The other thing, so these fingers here have to meet up with this material. This is the expanded PVC, that's 0.125 inches. So these fingers here, the thickness of those fingers has to be 0.125 inches thick. And then these fingers have to meet into the HDP, which is 0.25. So these fingers have to be 0.25 inches deep. So that determines all of these depths here. And as you go around, you have to do the same thing here. So these fingers, the depth of these fingers for the base has to meet up with the thickness of this material, which is the wood, so that's 0.20. The thickness here, it's the HDPE plastic, so these have to be 0.25 inches thick. This has, for this tile here, it has to be 0.20 because it goes to the wood. This also has to be 0.20. And this over here, because it meets up with the acrylic, these have to be 0.125 inches thick. All right, so go around, after you've identified which material is which, go around and identify what the thickness of each of these fingers are. And this is going to be a really, really important document for you to keep throughout the entire project. It's kind of your roadmap for how to design your acrylic, your speaker box. All right, so take your time on this. Ask questions if you have any questions, but really, take your time, understand what materials are on which sides, and what the thickness of the depth of the fingers are for this project.